A very good, happy Friday morning to everyone out there. Landon here in the driver's seat with you yet again to bring you your latest weather and on forecast, courtesy of none other than On Target. Getting a look out here, folks, we're finally getting a break in the action. We've had an extraordinarily active pattern here over the past several weeks. We're finally settling down. But we better get nestled in, folks, and I hope you got the sunscreen ready because you're going to need some protection from the UV rays with that forecast that we have in store. The good news is here in the short term, we've got a cold front that's worked south of the region. That's opening up the door to slightly less humidity. It's not anything overwhelming, but we'll take anything we can get with the oppressive amount of moisture that's been available here within our atmosphere. Now, you will note up here, we got a little yellow polygon up here signifying some severe thunderstorms up in Iowa as the day wears on. We're going to be getting some of this cloud debris off of that working into the region. Partly to mostly sunny skies will be the story throughout the day. And folks, with the crystal clear skies we've dealt with throughout the overnight, we've had some dense fog that's been able to develop across the region. Morgantown Skycam showing that nicely. We got some advection fog rolling right into Morgantown off of the Green River. You can blatantly see that early this morning. If you're in these fog-prone locations, please use a little bit of extra caution with that low visibility on your morning commute. Now, how about a wonderful masterpiece of a sunrise view overlooking our WPBM camera over at Barren River Lake? Got a picturesque view there with a little bit of fog residing there near the treetops and just over the lake. Got some little wispy clouds there up above that, but my oh my, what a beautiful view to take in early this morning. Temperatures and dew points are down compared to what we have been located at this time, right around the low and mid 70s. We are between the low and mid 60s. Hallelujah, amen. Now, we're going to be able to enjoy that as we work throughout the day, folks, but as we progress on into our Saturday, Sunday, even into the early days of next week, all of this comfortable weather is going to be eradicated, and it's going to be replaced with extreme heat and extreme humidity. The surface map this morning tells the story. Cold fronts to our south. High pressure is in control, but you will note high pressure is meandering just east of the region. It's going to be turning winds out of the south rather quickly as we work throughout the day. That's what's going to allow temperatures to recover right up to around the upper 80s as we progress into this afternoon. Now, folks, as we work on into the weekend, we're going to be keeping our eyes on this heat and humidity that's going to be somewhat overwhelming here across the region. We've got this large expanding upper level ridge that's going to be working eastward and parking itself right over the eastern tier of the continental U.S., as you can see here as we put this into motion for you. We'll be setting up shop by Saturday afternoon. That upper level ridge, folks, that area of high pressure is going to be parked right over the top of our heads right here across the Wobbles community. Trough going to be held well off to our north and west. This is going to allow for all of that dreaded heat and humidity to just set up a big old giant heat dome right here across our neck of the woods, along with the central U.S. and the south and east as well. Let's take a look at the heat index, all right? Here we are working throughout the day. Real-time temperatures are pretty much going to be where our heat indices located, right around the mid and upper 80s as we work into this afternoon, all right? Now, let's fast forward and let's work throughout the weekend. By the time we roll into Saturday morning at sunrise, heat index holding around 70 degrees doesn't appear too bad, but by 9 a.m., it's pushing a heat index of the mid and upper 80s across the region. By the time we roll into 10 a.m., short-term models are suggesting we'll be up around the low to mid 90s, and then during the afternoon, a potential run at the triple digits. And folks, this is pretty much going to be the same song and dance rolling into our Sunday as well, as you can see here. And then this will continue to be the theme as we roll into the new work week. There is something worth taking note of as we roll into the new work week, beginning as early as Monday afternoon and pretty much continuing through each afternoon of peak heating of next week. Look at the moisture that's going to become available. Not too bad out there early this morning. We got precipitable water values down around 3/4 of an inch. But look at the increase here as we work through the weekend, and then we get into the early days of next week. Precipitable water values approaching 1 3/4 of an inch to 2 inches. with all of the loaded instability from the amount of heat that will be provided, especially surface heating with the sunshine, we're going to be looking at the possibility of these isolated pop-up air mass thunderstorms each afternoon. Now, we are lacking speed and directional shear. That's what helps organize and keep storms together. That's not really going to be present. So we're going to see just these meandering, blossoming air mass thunderstorms that'll build up and then eventually dissipate beginning Monday afternoon, and pretty much a good bet throughout each afternoon during the peak heating for the vast majority of next week. All right, now something that I want to mention and showcase here is what we're looking at in regards to those air mass thunderstorms. We get into the cumulus stage where we have the updraft that'll build up, we reach the mature stage, and then eventually, folks, the downdraft from all the rain simply pinches off the updraft, not allowing for that warm, moist air to fuel the thunderstorm. And whenever we get that cut off, with no shear to organize and keep the updraft tilted, we reach the dissipating stage, as you can see right here, whenever the rain and the storm will simply collapse on itself. That's what we're going to be dealing with through next week during the afternoon hours. They should remain isolated in nature, all right? And that is the good news, folks. And on the rainfall front, we have nearly nothing that is forecast here over the course of the next week. Take this with a grain of salt. If you get hit by one of those air mass thunderstorms, it'll be able to dump a quick amount of rain in a short amount of time. But folks, this is a welcome sight. We got our observation stations located here across the region. Every station is 4 to 5 inches above average for rainfall for this time of year. So not all bad news with us drying out there to an extent. Your next 6-day weather forecast, folks, breaks it down for you and tells you the weather story. We got heat and humidity to deal with each and every day. Today will be the coolest day with highs in the upper 80s. And then we crank real-time thermometers between the low and mid 90s Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, with each and every afternoon making a run in the heat indice department at the century mark of 100 degrees, or potentially even up to 105 to perhaps even 110 degrees in some instances. All of you that spend extended times in the outdoors, please go ahead and have your necessary precautions in line. Regularly reapply that sunscreen and make for sure that you stay hydrated as well. Friends, that's going to wrap up your Friday morning weather or not forecast, brought to you by our friends at On Target. You all take